Avery, whose show is this? And we're live. Welcome, everybody, here to the Lakers Lounge Podcast. I'm Anthony Irwin, Senior Lakers Insider and lead Lakers content creator for Offside. And today on the show, that was a fun win. I am not joined by anybody because it is 1 a.m. my time, and it was a home game. So Raj was at the arena. But I will be joined by you guys. I'm going to talk about the show or this game over the course of the show. Obviously, we got to talk about Luka. We have to talk about the Lakers' big three. We have to talk about how bad the Clippers kind of sort of look. We got to talk about the Lakers' offense. I have a theory on maybe how to maximize the starters if JJ Redick is going to stick with Rui as a starter. And then, whenever I get through as many things as I can get through from that show, I do want to throw it over to you guys and have a nice little Q&A, on the back half of the show. So if you guys have any questions or comments, get them in as quickly as you can. Just make sure you have a question mark on it, so that I know you guys are asking a question. And we will go ahead and dive into those, like I said, after I discuss this game. So, man, what a fun one. Lakers beat the Clippers 135-118. It was relatively close for most of the game. And then the Lakers really kind of pulled away late. A trend that I think we might see fairly regularly because of the LeBron-Austin combination at the beginning of fourth quarters. So we'll talk about that as well and whatever else comes up. So let's go ahead and dive on in. A quick reminder, please hit that subscribe button if you guys are watching here on YouTube. If you guys are on Twitter, head on over to youtube.com/@LakersLounge to find the show there. And then if you guys are listening to the show in the morning via podcast, please hit subscribe wherever it is that you get your podcast, preferably on Odyssey. But you know what? All these subscriptions, they count roughly the same. So wherever it is that you prefer to get your podcast, hit that subscribe button, hit that 5-star review button. And if you guys happen to be on iTunes and you want to leave a question or a topic for me to hit on next mailbag, 5-star review there is the best way to do so to guarantee that your topic will be covered for free. So let's go ahead and dive on in, though. This was a fun win. If I sound delirious, it's because it's 1 a.m. I am very tired. Also, my son was up last night, all night, throwing up with a stomach bug. So I am very, very tired. 2 naps today did not really help at all. So, yeah, we'll see where this show goes. We'll see how delirious I get. I have a nice ice cold water here, which I might drink or just pour over my face to stay awake. We'll see. Who knows? But let's dive into this game. 135-118 was the final. The first numbers that jump off of the screen for me are Luka Doncic's, who, look, he came out of the gates throwing haymakers against the Clippers team that he has not liked dating back to very early in his career. He finished the game with 43 points, 13 assists, 9 rebounds, had 3 turnovers, and was a +9 overall in this game. And his scoring obviously slowed down. The pace at which he was scoring slowed down later in the game. But I thought his mastery of the game maintained throughout. He always had a pretty good handle of what the Lakers needed and what the game was kind of calling for. Sometime early in the game, the Clippers were kind of backed off of him, and he was knocking down open 3-pointers. We got some positive regression from him in that first half. And then when the Clippers started really kind of taking away that 3-pointer away from him, he open up the game for the rest of the Lakers, whether that was in secondary creation or primary creation, meaning, direct or indirect, I guess is a better way to put that, where sometimes Luka was creating the offense or the assist on his own, or he was making the pass that would lead to the assist, and the Lakers would take full advantage there. So I thought it was a really good Luka game. I thought he was very active defensively in this one. Had his hands in the mix quite a bit. Nice collection of deflections in this one. Like we said a second ago, he grabbed 9 rebounds as well in this game. I think that'll be kind of the stat to kind of watch, I think, or one of the stats to watch. If Luka grabs more than like 8 rebounds, I bet the Lakers win the vast majority of those games. That'll be a fun one to keep an eye on for the rest of the season. But Luka was phenomenal in this one, and the Clippers just had no answer for him. They try. It's almost kind of sad to watch Kawhi not be able to impact Luka's game at this point of his career, or of their careers, frankly. Chris Dunn tried his hand at it, but he got so frustrated by the end of it that he put a ball in Luka's chest and was uh, shown the door at the end of the game because of how frustrated he got over the course of the game. The Clippers tried their pair of Kobe's on Luka, and both of their inexperience, the levels of their inexperience showed with both of those guys. And I thought Luka took full advantage of those opportunities as well to get to the free throw line or to create different offensive opportunities. I thought Luka dominated this game in multiple ways. It was really kind of fun to watch Luka just kind of diagnose the game over the course of it and figure out how he was going to beat the Clippers and how the Lakers needed to beat the Clippers. And I do think there might be a lesson there in the second half with how good the Lakers looked with a more balanced approach. But overall, I'm not going to complain about Luka being able to hit like 5 straight threes or whatever it was in the first half. That was a pretty cool performance. Also cool with this one was LeBron. There's been a lot of talk, and it's funny. Law Murray covers the Clippers for The Athletic and is, I believe, a Clippers fan. And then he also has been covering the Lakers a little bit. And in, I think, LeBron's first game back, the entire premise of his article was how um, the Lakers were better when LeBron wasn't on the court last year, and LeBron's return to the court in that first Utah game was a continuation of that trend. And you fast forward a few games, LeBron has his legs more underneath him. The Lakers have a better understanding of how to utilize him. He has also kind of figured out on the fly how to impact these games. And you look up at the score tonight, you had Jaxson Hayes lead the way with a plus 21 in this game. Thoroughly, I thought, outplayed Ivica Zubac, which was not on my bingo card. And then you had Austin at a plus 19. And then right behind Austin with a plus 18 stat LeBron. And I just thought that, we talk about Luka's mastery of this game or his understanding of what the Lakers needed at various moments over the course of this game. I thought LeBron also showed that and has really, started to dial in the kind of basketball that the Lakers need him to play. He finished tonight with 25 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds, 9 of 15 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3-point range, 5 of 6 from the free throw line, which was a very nice number to see. LeBron getting to the free throw line, which means he's trying to get to the rim. And I thought over the course of this game, LeBron was just masterful in terms of, all right, they're giving me this, I'll get in the post, or all right, they're giving me this, I'll go set a screen. All right, they're giving me this, I'll get the team out in transition to take advantage of the Clippers' just piss poor transition defense. I thought LeBron has, today was easily, obviously, the best game that he has played so far this season for the Lakers. But it's not just the scoring, it's not just the statistical production here. But I also think it's very important to point out he is figuring out exactly what the Lakers need him. So that was a really fun game to watch from LeBron. And it's been really fun to watch him kind of figure out what it is that the Lakers need from him. So, excellent game from LeBron. I also thought he was really good defensively too. He had a steal and a block. The block was a highlight reel block, but his communication defensively, I think, has been a real shot in the arm for the Lakers. And they still gave up 118 points to the Clippers, and the defense, like, they just don't have the personnel to really defend. But I think LeBron is doing his part in getting the Lakers organized defensively. So at the very, very least, everybody who was out there on the court understands what they should be doing, or what, like, JJ Redick is, what kind of defense they're even running. It's like early on in the year, one thing that kind of drove me nuts was the number of possessions where the Lakers, half of the guys out there were running zone and half of the guys were running man, or you would have four guys running zone and you would have Jared Vanderbilt going rogue. With the way that LeBron communicates out there, we haven't seen anywhere near that level of disorganization and miscommunication or lack of communication as we saw early on in the year. And that's something that, is it an immediate impact statistically? No, but is that the kind of thing that the Lakers need to continue to improve over the course of the season? Absolutely. So really fun game here from LeBron. He and Luka are really, I think, starting to click as a duo there. No, their pick and roll execution together, or those sets where LeBron sets a screen for Luka, teams are basically just switching that, which kind of negates any kind of advantage that you would get there. But those guys understanding how to move off of the ball, what the other guy is doing off of the ball, or both of those guys understanding of where to get the other guy the ball to just fully collapse the defense and create a wide open shot, either for one or the other, or for one of their teammates. That has been really fun to watch. And I thought tonight was a big step forward in that regard. So really good game here from LeBron. It was also funny. It's been really funny here. Especially when Luka opens up the first half the way that he did. The number of times that the Clippers defense, and I think this is going to be a trend here moving forward, but the number of times that the Clippers defense, like, the ball would rotate over and it would find LeBron, and they would just be like, why is LeBron open? Like, hold on. I don't think that's how we're designing our defense, is to have LeBron catch the ball wide open on the weak side, either to take a shot himself or to create off of that wide open opportunity as guys close out to him. And then I think the same can be said about Austin, where, like, the number of times that you look at the Clippers defenders, and I can't wait to rewatch this one, but like, you watch the number of times that the Lakers would run some kind of a pick and roll, and if nothing was created directly off of that pick and roll, the ball is starting to make its way around the perimeter against a pierced shell type of defense. And that defense, which has already collapsed to try to deal with whatever initial pick and roll that the Lakers are run, or whatever initial action the Lakers are running, the ball rotates over, and it's either LeBron or Austin on the weak side, or it's LeBron or Luka on the weak side, or it's Austin or Luka on the weak side. And, like, the ways that the Clippers specifically, because their chemistry across their roster is just absolute dog shit. But, like, the Clippers, the number of times that the ball swings around and like the Clippers, rather than defend whoever it is has the ball at that point, or try to rotate over to deal with whoever has the ball, or whatever options whoever gets the ball in that spot now has, rather than defend that player and try to like get a handout or stuff like that, they're like, the fuck? Why is Austin open? Like, shit. LeBron's open again. Like, that was like easily my favorite trend over the course of this show. It's like, damn it. Oh man. Shit. I thought that was really, really funny. Maybe it's the kind of thing that only like tickles me, but I guarantee like the people, like the Lakers in their film room tomorrow, that's one of the things that they're probably going to laugh at is like, oh my God, look at how often Kawhi is looking at James Harden like, why is nobody rotating? And then you have like Nicholas Batum in his like walker, like, I'm hustling, here we go. Like, oh man, that was really fun to watch. And I think that's going to be the kind of thing that over the course of the season, the Lakers more consistently get to, right? I think the Lakers have played 3 games so far with LeBron. This was the most frequently we have seen the Lakers offense just completely put the Clippers in the worst kind of situations where they have no choice but to just look at each other with what the bleep air bubbles above their heads, or thought bubbles above their heads, where they're just like, I hope they miss, I guess. Maybe box out in case they do miss. But and I think the more frequently LeBron and Luka and Austin play together, the more frequently they're going to put these opposing defenses in these completely obliterated moments where they basically all they can do is hope that the Lakers missed their open jumpers. And tonight, we already talked about Luka. He finished with 43, 13, and 9. LeBron finishes tonight, as we said earlier, 25, 6, and 6. And yeah, oh, by the way, Austin scores 31 points on 16 field goals. He was 11 of 16 from the field because of how frequently he was able to get downhill against an either exhausted and or obliterated defense. Austin finishes with 31 points. He grabbed 9 rebounds in this game, and it really stuck out how frequently he was involved in that aspect of the game. He dished out 3 assists, and then he also was there for 3 steals, was a plus 19 in the game. And yeah, it was really fun to watch the Lakers big 3 click at this level. And maybe it's because the Clippers suck. They tend to be quite a bit better with Kawhi in the lineup. And I guess the only guy that they didn't have tonight was Bogdanovich. But usually when Kawhi's in the lineup, the Clippers are quite a bit better. And it just, over the course of the game, it just didn't really matter very much. The Lakers' ball movement, player movement, star level creation was just too much. Speaking of, I think one of the trends that we're going to see, I'm sorry, I'm kind of chuckling on the inside because the other day I was like walking, I took the kids grocery shopping and it was quiet. Nobody had said anything for like a couple of aisles. And out of nowhere, Avery goes, speaking of marshmallows, are we going to get something for s'mores? And I was like, Avery, nobody said anything about marshmallows. This is how I know she's my daughter. She goes, you just did. It's stupid, girl. Anyway, so speaking of that big 3, one of the trends that I think we are going to start to notice is the runs that the Lakers go on in the first half of the fourth quarter. And the reason being, you're typically playing against a blend of starters and bench units in that spot. And normally you have the other team's best player resting at the beginning of that fourth quarter, so that they can get in there and play for the final like 7 or 8 minutes of the fourth period. Um, and what the Lakers have essentially done, Luka, like most best players, he's resting at the beginning of these fourth quarters, and it is a Austin LeBron unit at the beginning of that fourth. And what you have is a unit that they're playing against made up of some mix of starters and bench. And you have that combination of starters and bench already kind of compromised because they have played 3/4 of a basketball game already. So they're kind of tired. They don't have the reps so far, and I don't think you'll ever get enough reps to deal with LeBron Austin offensive possessions. That's what the Lakers were closing with before they traded for Luka. And so the Lakers offense is clicking at a really high level at the beginning of those fourth quarters. And then after the Lakers go on that run to either get back into the game or more frequently than not so far this season, they'll go on a run to build some separation. And then in comes Luka to close out the game. And like, yeah, I would like to see some better offense and some better balance at the ends of these fourth quarters or the ends of these games whenever Luka comes in. But that is going to be one way that the Lakers kind of compound a strength whenever they figure out their late game Luka, Austin, LeBron offense. I don't think this trend of LeBron and Austin dominating either bench units or starter bench combo units at the beginning of those fourth quarters, like that's going to be something that is going to hold out not just through the regular season, but I don't really know how you even adjust for that in a playoff series. To have basically, to be able to hand off an offense in the fourth quarter from the elite level of execution that you get from LeBron and Austin at the first 4 or 5 minutes or so of that fourth quarter, to hand it off from that to Luka, and he gets to handle the offense. LeBron usually takes a bit of a break. Austin takes a bit of a break. And then for the final 5 minutes or so, you get all three of those guys on the court at the same time. And by the time we get to the playoffs, I think the offense will be clicking pretty well. That is I legitimately don't know if it's a close game for most teams. Maybe Denver's an outlier here, and OKC is an outlier here because of both of those teams' ability to execute based on their identities. We'll see to what extent this remains the case against Houston, because they are a bit of an unknown right now. They're very, very good. They have been very, very good so far this season. We just haven't seen them quite yet. So yeah, I that is something, those beginnings of the fourth quarter there. And again, like this is all they process, the executing the offense with all three of those guys on the court together, and then seeing what units look like with either Luka running the offense or LeBron and Austin running the offense. I think it's been really smart to see that the Lakers have gone back to that approach where the only guy who gets his own lineup is Luka, and with the other two guys, LeBron and Austin, they get to work off of each other so that they continue to produce at that Luka offense level. And it like the beginnings of these fourth quarters, we haven't seen it quite yet because LeBron has only been back for 3 games, but I think there's a legitimate chance here that over the course of the season, that run at the beginning of the fourth quarter breaks teams. And that allows LeBron, when he subs out of the game, to really consider just putting the ice on the knees and getting ready for the following game. Tonight, he had to come back in against Utah. Last game, he had to come back in. But against Utah 2 games ago, he didn't have to come back in. And I do kind of wonder if we ever arrive at a point where maybe 65% of the time LeBron doesn't have to sub back in. Maybe like even if it's 50-50, that LeBron doesn't have to sub back in. That is a ratio that helps LeBron stay healthy and stay fresh all the way through to the end of the season. So wanted to really isolate that run at the beginning of the fourth quarter that the Lakers went on in this game, and that run at the beginning of the fourth quarter that I believe that they are going to continue going on in games where those 3 guys all play together. That's a legitimate weapon for the Lakers here moving forward. Also, before I get into the Q&A section of the show, I want to shout out Jaxson Hayes for 2 reasons. One, because of the game that he played. He was a game high plus 21 in this one. His numbers wouldn't blow you away either. 8 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and a block. But I thought he was very physical with Ivica Zubac, to the extent where Zubac never looked very comfortable. Thought also that the Lakers were really good at sending help for Jaxson against Zubac. But that's all part of it, right? Like the whole thing was kind of an approach type deal. And I thought Jaxson helped the Lakers execute that approach. I also, on top of the game that we saw Jaxson play here, I want to give Jaxson credit for standing up and telling Chris Dunn, no, man, you're not pulling that shit with Luka. And, if you want to say that Luka flopped on the push in the back, you can. But then Dunn puts the ball in Luka's chest and kind of challenges him there. And in years prior, last couple of years specifically, the Lakers in that moment just kind of go about their business. And there is no like that. Like one of the things that just drove me nuts over the last few years is how often LeBron would get a hard foul or AD would get a hard foul, and there would be no ramifications to whoever did that on the other team. And does this mean I want the Lakers like starting fights all the time? No, but I do want the rest of the team here to take note of what Jaxson did there, where it's like the no-fly zone with the Lakers is Luka, LeBron, and Austin. And if any of those guys get fucked with, Jaxson, Ayton, Rui, Smart, like whoever it is that happens to be out on that court. Vando is good with this stuff too, generally, but he's obviously not in the rotation. Whoever it is that happens to be out on the court there, Jaxson stepping to Dunn, giving him a good shove and being like, no, man, absolutely not. And then I guess some of the beat reporters who were there closer to the court noted that Hayes was like, I got you, Luka. And then after the game, one of the first things that Luka told the media afterward was how he is going to pay Hayes' fine for whatever that technical foul costs Jaxson Hayes. That was a really good moment here. And we've talked, Jovan was just on the show last week, and we talked about the vibes in this season and how high they have been. And this is like an extension of that. These guys, I genuinely care about each other, at least at the onset of the season. And this is part of why like getting off to the start that the Lakers have gotten to was so important, right? Was so that you would have this level of buy-in to where Jaxson has no problem shoving Chris Dunn, knowing that Luka, and it helps probably that Luka like shares an agent with him, and they're probably closer than most pairs of NBA players would be as a result. But At no moment was there any like, should I, shouldn't I? Like Jaxson saw what was happening there, got done out of there, done through a punch, which makes me wonder if he's going to be suspended for maybe a game for throwing a punch. And that was it, right? And Jaxson made it known to Chris Dunn, to the rest of the Clippers, like, no, like, no, dead all that shit. That is not happening here. And I think that's really important here because, look, the Lakers are going to play at a certain level when they have Luka. They're going to, and when they have LeBron and when they have Austin, they're going to play at a certain level when they have Luka and one of the other two guys. Like, it is very important, not just in every game specifically, but also over the course of the season. It is very important that those guys play as often as they can so that by the time you get to the playoffs, you have plenty of reps to work off of. And these cheap shots and this nonsense that might happen there, that you just never know. These guys are really, really strong, man. And like I'll never forget Markieff Morris, right, when he was on the Heat. Jokic goes over there and he puts a shoulder in his back and knocked out Markieff for basically the rest of that season. Markieff, frankly, has never been the same after that hit. And it's like, if that kind of deal was to happen to Luka or LeBron or Austin, that's the kind of thing that would happen to those guys because the other team didn't feel like they or that team would feel like they can get away with that kind of a thing. But so long as there's a tone set that like, no, you are not going to get you're not going to get away with that. That will kind of end all of those types of plays, those type of instincts, before they even start. So I always kind of think back at like, I'll never forget. I'm a Dodgers fan, obviously. You see the Brooklyn Dodgers hat back there. I'll never forget Hanley Ramirez getting plunked right here. And it broke his rib and basically ended that season's Dodgers playoff opportunity. He was just never the same. And the Dodgers didn't have the weapons to make up for it. And the Dodgers never really did anything to the Cardinals to make up for it. And part of it is because like you have warnings that get sent and all this stuff. But I'll just never forget feeling throughout that series like, hey, why is it that those guys get to keep on throwing at our guys and the Dodgers never throw back at those guys? All that's going to do is like let those pitchers know, well, shoot, may as well just keep on doing it and wipe away the inside part of the plate. With the Lakers here, they have enough guys who are physical presences, veterans and stuff like that, who should be able to step in. And if they see the kind of nonsense that Chris Dunn was up to with Luka tonight, you have enough guys across this roster that at any given moment, in the game, they step in and they're like, abso-fucking-lutely not. You are not doing that to one of our dudes. All right. Let's go ahead and answer some of your guys' questions here. We have a few super comments, so that means I get to play this bad boy.
Welcome, everybody, to the Locked On Lakers podcast.
Paul George really hit the side of the backboard.
It was wide open. I can't even make sense.
Lou Williams, he said they just came together this year.
Oh, darn. I played the wrong video. Shoot. All right. First question here comes from Justin Tyndall. Thank you very much, Justin, for the super chat. The biggest weakness on this team is perimeter athleticism on defense. Would like Thiero to get to be given a chance over Vincent. Harden is infuriating to watch. Can't guard him or he will be on the line every possession. So, yeah, like one of the I think I said this in the last show. One of my like downstream concerns of starting Rui is that when like because eventually you're going to bring in Marcus Smart, that's going to hurt your spacing already. We know how much JJ Redick cares about spacing. So he's and then also on top of that, right, you're going to swap out Ayton for Jaxson Hayes. That's going to impact your spacing. That basically makes it impossible to play Jared Vanderbilt. Whereas if you start Marcus Smart, you can sub Smart out and bring Vanderbilt in. And frankly, like the practical impact on your spacing really doesn't change that much. And on top of that, by the way, you maintain that level of athleticism that you kind of need. Which, like, look, like I'm going to be honest, the Lakers have looked very unathletic without Vando in the rotation, and I do think eventually that's going to be something that needs to be addressed. Maybe it's like you're talking about, Justin, by giving Thiero a chance, but you know, Dalton Connect, one of the Lakers' better athletes, he's out of the rotation. Jared Vanderbilt, maybe the Lakers' actual like in terms of just raw measurables, Vando's probably the Lakers' best overall athlete in the current rotation, not counting Thiero. And he's out of the rotation. So a team that was already short of on athleticism just wiped out two of their better athletes. And I'm not even saying that like I disagree completely with that decision. I think Vando has been really bad this year. And I frankly think he's gotten worse every year that he's been a Laker. Dalton Connect looked pretty lost for most of this season too. And when the Lakers got healthy enough, I kind of sort of understand JJ Redick going to more predictable production and defense and moving off of Dalton Connect. So I understand how we kind of arrived here, but that doesn't change the impact that that has had on the Lakers, overall athletic prowess on the court. So, yeah, I am still pro starting Smart, bringing Rui off of the bench and having him paired with Vando, basically, so that you have Rui, who isn't like the highest motor guy, paired with Vando, who is an incredibly high motor guy. And you kind of see what that looks like there. But yeah, look, eventually this team is probably going to need to address that athleticism deficit with a trade, and we will see what that eventually looks like. Now, giving Thiero a chance over Vincent, I'm going to explain it to you guys like this. Look at JJ Redick night after night. He is incredibly well put together. His hair looks identical every single night. Sleeves at the exact same spot every single night. Pants perfectly pressed. Shoes look super clean. JJ Redick is a control freak, as most shooters tend to be, right? Shooters, golfers, right? We like when you are that good at that kind of a thing that requires that level of precision, the rest of your world revolves around that level of precision. And the reason that JJ Redick continues to play Gabe Vincent is a player like Gabe, who thinks like a point guard, veteran, like his presence out there on the court gives JJ Redick, at the very least, the illusion of control. Gabe Vincent thinks like a head coach out there, is an extension of the head coach. And JJ Redick looks at Gabe Vincent's minutes and it's like, all right, I know for the most part what I'm going to get from this guy. He's going to work his ass off defensively. He's not going to make like back-breaking mental mistakes. Probably going to knock down a 3 or 2 over the course of the game too, maybe even more, which improves our spacing. Like if I'm the JJ Redick arriving at playing Gabe Vincent shouldn't surprise anybody, frankly. Especially also for a young coach, it's really important to have guys like Gabe in the rotation as well. And you look at a guy like Adu Thero, who again, I like his game. I think eventually he's going to be a pretty damn good pro. But a rookie is the antithesis of that control. Rookies make mental mistakes all the time on both sides of the ball. Thero is not a very good shooter, so that's going to take away from the spacing as well. And on top of that, like he didn't get the reps in the training camp and preseason that would prove to JJ Redick heading into the season that he is ready for those kinds of opportunities. And look, like I probably overreacted when it came to Thero and Raj saying like maybe just maybe in terms of Thero the player. I think I've basically completely come around on Thero the player. But the opportunity that Thero is going to get, I just don't see it without injuries and stuff that I would frankly like to avoid injuries. But I understand why people would like to see him. But I do think it's worth, whether I agree or disagree or whatever, it's worth contextualizing why JJ Redick would arrive at Gabe Vincent has a spot in the rotation written in permanent ink, basically. Ryan Lucas writes, good stuff as always, bud. If you had to guess, who does the Lakers acquire by the deadline? Herb, Wiggins, McCall, Brooks. Have a great Thanksgiving. Dude, thank you very much. I can't wait for Thanksgiving. The Lakers don't play this Thanksgiving, which is kind of nice. Just get to like hang with family and then the day after Thanksgiving, nurse my hangover by talking basketball with Pete. It's going to be a good couple of days, and I can't wait for that. Hopefully. Now, as far as who do I think the Lakers? All right, here's what I'll do. I will rank, or I'll put in order the 4 names in terms of likelihood. I will say Wiggins is most likely. Brooks, second. Herb, third. McCall, fourth. And the reason being is Wiggins, the Lakers in Miami already had those conversations over the summer. So you have that to build off of heading into this season. And you know, now the question there becomes, does Pat Riley come off of that asking price? Probably not. And also, like on top of that, even me being a quote unquote insider or whatever, oftentimes the names that we report on the most, those guys don't eventually get acquired. Now, last year was a little different in that right at the onset of the season, I was telling you guys that keep Dorian Finney-Smith on your radar. That's somebody that I could see the Lakers going out and getting, and eventually they arrived at that, at bringing in Dorian Finney-Smith. That was one of the very predictable things over the summer, right? I had told you guys that Marcus Smart is somebody that the Lakers are monitoring closely. If and when he gets bought out, look for the Lakers to swoop in quickly. So that's kind of like, we are starting to get a better grip of what the Lakers are looking to do. But normally, a player like Wiggins, where the Lakers have had interest for dating back to the onset of last summer, those guys don't tend to get acquired by the Lakers. So we'll see how that plays out. Now, as far as Herb Jones goes, it's kind of difficult to see the Pelicans giving him up, seeing as there's no incentive for them to tank. Now, they might eventually just kind of come to grips with the fact that, like, all right, we maybe shouldn't have given up an unprotected first for Derek Queen. But at the end of the day, we got to take whatever value we can for somebody like Herb Jones, whose game has taken a bit of a step back over the last couple of years. Also, like, do the Pelicans really want to trade with the Lakers? Like, has everybody moved on from the Anthony Davis thing there? Maybe. But I still have Herb second because, or no, did I have Herb second or did I have Brooks second? Well, I think Herb and Brooks are pretty close, is what I'll say. And you see, I told you guys I was going to be delirious. It is going on 2 a.m. my time. But like with Herb and Brooks, both of those teams don't really have incentive to lose this year. Both of those teams have had moments where they have flashed real potential, at least in terms of like making a play in. And so long as those guys, those teams kind of hover around the play in, I kind of see it fairly unlikely that either of those teams go into outright fire sale mode. But like I would say Brooks, his asking price or the price for Brooks would be quite a bit lower than Herb Jones. So maybe I would go Wiggins, Brooks, Herb, McCall. And then McCall, I just don't see him getting moved because one, the Knicks overpaid for him. And if the same front office that overpaid for Mikal Bridges turns around and trades Mikal Bridges for way less, front offices don't normally do that because that is basically admitting to screwing up that acquisition in the first place. On top of that, the Knicks, like, there's no reason for the Knicks to sell off pieces in that Eastern Conference. If anything, there's more reason for them to continue to double and triple down and try to improve their team and give themselves a better chance at making it to the finals, while the East is so broken down. So yeah, I would probably have McCall like a distant fourth in that list of players. But those are the kinds of players, those are the archetypes that with McCall and with Herb Jones, I would trade a first for both of those guys. With Wiggins and Brooks, I would not. So we'll see what how the Lakers feel about that. Next super comment here. Thank you. Also, Ryan, thank you for that super chat. Phil, thank you for your super chat. There were 0 moments. 3 or 4 guys were playing zone, but the others were playing man. Certainly not many. Call out bad D. Been a lot, but don't be like Law Murray or other media and give bad takes. I'm sorry, man, but there were plenty of instances where the Lakers were not unified in their defensive approach, at least early in the season. I'm like, look, like early in the season, you do have those miscommunication moments. Those are, especially given that the Lakers were missing guys throughout their preseason slate and throughout training camp. So guys were literally getting on to the same page. And that usually is a process that involves guys not understanding what kind of defense that they are running. And then also like Jared Vanderbilt, and this is going to be really interesting to see if and when he gets moved. I don't think he's going to get moved this season because I don't think anybody really wants to trade for that contract. But the thing with Vando, and I'll be really curious to see if like some team harnesses this better than the Lakers have to this point. But with Vanderbilt, you almost have to work into your lineups, your situations that he's going to go rogue. He's going to go out there and try to wreak havoc. And sometimes that works out and he gets the steal and all of that stuff. But then other times he compromises the defense that way. And it's something that you have to make up for. And I don't think the Lakers have strategically planned for Vando going rogue, nor have they had the personnel to make up for Vando going rogue. And that has basically led to Jared Vanderbilt over the years becoming a worse and worse and worse version of himself. Also in part because he has gotten worse offensively as a basketball player. But defensively, his impact has been all over the map because I just don't think the Lakers do enough to maximize his defensive impact. And like the counter to that, I think it's a fair counter is, well, why should the Lakers go out of their way to maximize Jared Vanderbilt minutes when you could just bench him and still have success in the way that the Lakers have had success? So, yeah, I look, I am very cognizant of bad national takes about the Lakers. I am very aware of like I have several text chains with plenty of people who cover this team closely, laughing at a lot of those takes. But we also were very realistic about like the type of defense that the Lakers or certain Lakers play. And at times, Jared Vanderbilt specifically was out of position, didn't understand what the Lakers were looking to do on various possessions and compromise the defense as a result. Does that mean that he deserved to be sent to rotation Siberia? Maybe not. And I do think the Lakers miss him, to be completely clear. Or they at least miss his athleticism. And I do think it's a real bummer that a guy like Vanderbilt basically hasn't been able to help the Lakers this season because JJ Redick has just become fed up with the lack of 3-point shooting and the unpredictability defensively. The Lakers miss Vanderbilt playing at the level that he was playing at a couple seasons ago. But whether it's because injuries have taken their toll, whether it's because the coaching staff just doesn't have any belief in him or whatever, the end result is Jared Vanderbilt has become an unplayable player. And one of the reasons for it is because of his lack of discipline defensively and strategically in terms of what the Lakers were looking to do on any given possession. Let's go back in. Phil writes, Luka and Jaxson are closer than most other players because they share an agent. We have never heard they're close, and many players share an agent. Love what Jaxson did, but again, don't be lazy with takes. Luka literally vouched for Jaxson because they share an agency. Like, I am all for, and look, I appreciate the super chats. Like, I really, really do. I am all for disagreeing with like my opinions and stuff like that, but don't call me lazy. Like, you guys have no idea how much work it takes. I'm literally recording this at 2:00 in the morning, my time. And after this, editing, posting, getting the show ready for tomorrow, waking up tomorrow, talking to agents, talking to people close to the Lakers, talking to people around the league, so that my opinions are as informed as they can possibly be. You can disagree with me all you want, but you do not rise in this industry by being lazy. That is not a thing. Some people might look like it's easier, might make it look like it's an easier deal than it is for other people. But if I make it look easy, then I'll take that as a compliment. But I swear to God, I am not being lazy. And I'm sorry I'm a little cranky because, again, I got like 2 hours of sleep last night, and I'm gonna get another like 3 hours of sleep tonight. But Luka and Hayes share an agent. Players who share agents are always closer than the players that they don't share an agency with. Now, there are exceptions to the rule. Luka and Austin don't share an agent. They happen to get along really well, but clutch guys, they support clutch guys. Um, CAA guys, they support CAA guys. Uh, in this case, Bill Duffy's guys, they support each other as well. And, though that closeness, that friendship, that bond, that is something that these agencies kind of cultivate as well. Because if you're an agent, let's put it this way, I'll slide the curtain back for you a little bit. When you're an agent and you rep a superstar, there's a level of leverage that you have as a result of your relationship with that superstar, and that superstar with the with their um with their team. Sorry, I saw that somebody said that there was a Palinka interview, and I quickly glanced at it. I haven't seen it, but anyway, if you're an agent and you have a superstar in an organization, you want to leverage that superstar's relationship with that organization to get your other clients opportunities at that organization. You only arrive at the ability to do so if your superstar is on the same page with you there. So you'll oftentimes see agencies throw like agency parties or agency get-togethers where superstars mingle with other players from at various levels of that agency or client list, and they all understand that they are trying to build a culture where they are there to make sure that everybody eats. And in this case, Luka Doncic, was able to vouch for DeAndre Ayton, and the Lakers swooped in quickly to go out and get DeAndre Ayton. And one of the things that Bill Duffy said was like, "Hey, did you guys a solid? Why don't you help us out here?" And Luka Doncic and Jaxson Hayes built chemistry really quickly on the court last year. That lob threat was something that the Lakers really benefited last season. They also, again, continue to share that agency, and that is something that both players have and the Lakers have benefited from. And but both Luka and Jackson have leveraged into at least Luka's agency has leveraged into an opportunity here for Jaxson Hayes that he probably would not otherwise have. So, yeah, look, you can again, these opinions that I have on the matter, they are not born of laziness. They are typically born of conversations that I have several times over about whatever subject it is. Sometimes I'll come out and say, this is what I'm hearing, but and this is the case with everybody who has been doing this for a long time. Oftentimes analysis is painted by access, not just in the terms of like, some people are kind of reluctant to say certain things because they don't want to give up their access to certain entities, but also by hearing things from behind the scenes or talking to enough people from behind the scenes, you that starts to just inherently become baked into your analysis. And in this case, Luka and Jackson, Jaxson is literally looking up ways to become a Slovenian citizen or dual citizen. He's looking at a dual citizenship so that he can be on the Slovenian national team with Luka. Like, anyway, I don't need to continue to explain that. Let's see. Unified in defense. I'm not answering this. Phil, thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate it, but I've just given you 15 minutes of my life that I will never get back. All right, let's go ahead and dive on into some of the other takes that you guys have. And yeah, right. D-Russ. Yeah, Luka and Hayes are not close. That's why Luka is trying to get Hayes cleared to play for Slovenia. Like, I just anyway. I just realized I've been talking here for an hour. So I'm going to hop on off here, get whatever sleep I possibly can, and be ready to record tomorrow. Talk to Harrison, and the plan is for he and I to record tomorrow. So long as this bug that Miles had today doesn't make its way through the rest of the house. But yeah, fingers crossed, knock on wood, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. So until then, and until the next time you guys hear from me, have a great rest of your day, make somebody else's, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Bye, everyone.